Hi everyone, hope everyone's all right out there. Not sure if you can hear the sound. I know I've had a few problems. Someone left a comment, Rob did, on one of my lives. Just let me know that you couldn't hear any sound. I can't hear it in my headphones, that's all. But I think it's coming through all right. If it isn't, please just let me know in the comments in the chat and that. We'll see what's happened. Fingers crossed. Not sure if anyone's on anyway to let me know if they can hear. So I'll just pretend that we can and go for it, I suppose. I can see the volumes on here all right. But anyway, I hope you've all had a better week than what I have. I did lose one day this week not working. That was Friday. That was all down to the gusts, the high winds that we had. Where I am, it weren't like gale force winds. It's just the gusts were above where I'd normally say, you know, it's on the cusp of working or not, and it was slightly over, so it wasn't worth the risk. Brilliant. Cheers, Jack. Thanks for letting me know everything's all right. Hi, Dawn. Window cleaning. Thank you. Yeah, so really it's just one day I was short this week. It could have been a lot worse, I suppose. But it's also at a time where last week I had some dramas. You've probably seen on one of my videos that I released out on the channel where I had a couple of flat tyre issues. So that's cost me some money and a new wheel. But Guy Earn Tyres, big shout out to them. They sorted me out and they saved me some money as well. Managed to repair a puncture as opposed to me having a new tyre. So that's a big help. But all these things come and get you, don't they? I know I've got my MOT coming January, and I'll probably have a service just about December time, I reckon, before then anyway. I've got about another 3,000 miles on my van to go till it needs that. So it's building up the pot for that, isn't it? So it's made this month a bit tight to get through, but obviously we've got tomorrow. Hopefully I'm working. I don't know if any of you are down south or down round like where Matt from Your Cleaner Windows is, down Plymouth way. Because I know they've got some bad weather coming that way, haven't they, with the wind and the rain. And I think where I am, over near East Anglia, we'll probably not be affected anyway as bad as them, but you don't know how it's going to pan out as it comes across. So I'm waiting to see how tomorrow is for me. As long as I can work, I don't care. I'll put up with it, really. But the weather is the weather. Anyway, what I thought I'd go on about is something I haven't got prepared, actually, is my title slide. Just let me press a few buttons in. I'll sort that out while I'm waffling. Just bear with me. Is Rootex Designs. I have ordered from them and I've been using the base cap, hence the name of the live. If I can get to it. I won't do that. It's yeah, from Rootex Designs. Sorry, I've ordered their base caps. I ordered two, one for my 35-foot pole section, and I also ordered one to go on my 18-foot pole, because I have a 35-foot pole stripped down to 18 foot for the majority of my work, and then where it's needed, I put the extra sections on. So I've got the 35-foot pole, and the base caps were made to size because I'll show you later on their website. Basically, they advise you get some, which I did off Amazon for cheap. The I forgot what they're called now, electronic automatic like calipers, so they give you a more accurate reading. I did that, ordered the base caps. They come through and they're fitted on nice and snug, not too tight, not too loose, and they're a better fit than when I ordered them using a gardener size, because the pole I've got is an xline carbon nano pole. With the sections on the pole, when you get down to the bottom bit where it's still inside the section of the pole, it's a bit bulbous, so you can't over pull it and completely take it out the section, so it won't come out through the clamp. So the measurement size in there are going to be different to a gardener's pole, basically. So using the calipers to give me a more accurate reading, I've got a better fit, basically. So that was good for me. Sorry, I'm just going to go over to some of the comments, try and catch up on some of those. So thanks, Jack, for letting us know about the audio earlier, and also Dawn Window Cleaning, just saying hi again, mate. Hi, Rob. I know you've commented on quite a few of me videos where you've been watching them. And you're just asking, do you have any connection with Utility Warehouse? No, I don't. I don't know if anyone who's currently in the chat has got Utility Warehouse, and I'm not sure as well if anyone's going to put anything in the comments, because I'll do a replay of this video as well. I'll try and have a look, actually. Utility Warehouse. So I just type in and having a look with my big fingers. If I put window cleaning, will it narrow it down on the search a bit more? So I'm putting it's all to do with energy. So but just bear with me. I'm having a look on the. No, I don't think this is what you're after. Rob, is it to do with energy bills, or is it window cleaning? Because I've got loads coming up basically for energy basically. Okay, he's just saying, Rob, it's okay. Window cleaner through Facebook was doing part time. His name was Rob. Ah, right. No, it's not me, mate. It'll be someone else. Sorry, I was just going to try and bung it up on the internet to double check stuff for you. That it's that's not me, mate. It's yeah. So basically, I'll just try and go across to get my screen up anywhere the internet. So I know I've talked about it before on other lives with Rootex Designs. No, it's not me, Rob, mate. It's someone else. There's obviously a lot of Robs today. And yeah, Rootex Designs do a lot of good stuff. I first stumbled along them when I was looking around. I think I saw something on eBay actually for the unofficial Univalve service kit. And then also I come onto these guys' websites and they do their version, and I use that. Hi PB Pro Clean, mate. And yeah, it's a good bit of kit. I don't know if I can see it. I just go on seeing all products. They do a multitude of different things. I'll just try and get on. So yeah, this was it. This is how I first come across Rootex Designs with their unofficial service kit, and it says unofficial. And then you can see when you play around the website, you get different choices. You can buy 1 kit, 2, 3, or 5 kits, and then it comes with that tool on there or without tool. And then again, with the 5 kits, so you can have all 5 with or without the tool. And they're very good value. They work as well, and yeah, it's good price. I'm not trying to take anything away neither from Exceed Innovations, because they've got good stuff as well. But I was looking around here. This is how I found them anyway. And then something else I was looking at, which is what I obviously thought I'd talk about in the live today for something to do, because I was running out of subjects and thinking what we're going to do all week. But I knew I was going to talk about this, the base cap. So when you go on the website, it'll tell you on here, and they've got sections for you to read. That's where it'll also cover in here about using those calipers. Like I got a digital pair off for about £5 off Amazon to make it more accurate. And they do have some sizes for you to go by, chart there. And it's all basically with the gardener's poles. But because I use the xline pole, and it's, like I said, the carbon nano, the pole goes inside a section, but the very bottom bit, it's bulbous, so you can't over pull it. Whereas like on the gardeners, you get the tape. So it's slightly different design with the carbon nano pole. It's just a more of a positive stop. So the sizes were different. I did buy one from Rootex Designs as a tester basically, and I didn't have calipers then, so I just ordered the equivalent from the gardeners. It was quite a bit of a tight fit, but it did go on. It's just hard to take off when I was trying to add other sections on my pole. And I liked the product. I like it. So I thought I might as well order one, use a caliper, and then get a better fit basically. And also got one to go on the bottom of my 35 section pole. which was a lot better fit I found than going through Exceed Innovations. But I'm sure if I had the calipers and did the same thing measurements, they'd probably sort me out with a better one than the one I did have. It was just really too tight, and then once it was on, it was really hard to take off. However, I'm been really happy with these ones here from Rootex Designs. Their base caps, they're very well made. So it is double the price from what you're going to get through Exceed Innovations, but I'd say it's better quality, so it's going to last longer. So it probably costs you exactly the same in terms of money, because you probably buy twice the amount compared to the one base cap, if that makes sense, what you're going to get out of use anyway. And going by the quality of the product for the base cap, I'm pretty sure the rest of their kit is going to be about along the same. I know, God, I've forgotten who else. Sorry, names don't come to me now. It used Rootex Designs and got a bit of their kit as well on the lives and made some comments on there about it. But yeah, it's got lots of different products. The other one that I've used, and I'll probably try and do a review on, is this, the drip stop, and it says for gardener poles, but basically it goes on the gardener gooseneck. So as you know, I use the xline pole, but what I've got is a gardener's gooseneck in there, and then this drip stop fits on the gooseneck, no problems. And you've got two different types. It tells you all on the website, gives you all the details, and the difference between type 1 and type 2, and that's in regards with the gooseneck, if you're using the old or the new type of gooseneck from gardeners. So it'll tell you what one to fit. And yeah, they are good. They basically just go on the end here, and then it does work. I've done it on a few facer jobs, and I've not had any water running down to my armpits like I normally do. You know, where it runs down your pole, down your arm, down inside your jacket and your armpit and down the back and everything else. That did stop it as well, and that's a good price. So I'm going to get one of them for my son as well. And then there's something else that I want to try, which I've forgotten the name, sorry, of who was on here, but they told me to use the Tough Connect. So instead of using the slick connector, basically use their version here, and it is interchangeable. So basically you could have one of these connection, and if you've got two poles, you have two of these different ones on each pole hose, and it'll just all fit in. And I just want to try that. The reason why I want to try that is because when I'm using the, so I'm just going to try and get up Exceed Innovations website. I don't know if anyone else has this problem when using it, but basically when I'm using the old slick connector, I mean, it's always going to catch on things anyway, aren't they? I think whatever you use, let's face it. Okay, I can see they've made some adjustments as well. Right, with you. Okay, so they've probably answered that one. So I just try and get a picture up. Okay, I'll go over to Exceed Innovations then. They've updated the slick connectors. I've only just seen that myself, but the old one on the top here used to get prized open, and then when it gets weaker, which they're going to do because they're going to run across on the ground on the concrete, you can't stop that. But they used to get a bit thin and weak and catch on the corners of houses on some of the brickwork, and they'd start to prise open. And then when they start prizing open a bit more, they were starting to catch a lot more as well. So they've obviously redesigned these to avoid that, which is basically why I was thinking of going for this Tough Connect, because I thought that's going to avoid that problem. But it looks like Exceed Innovations have probably addressed it. So if anybody down in the chat have used these new slick connectors from Exceed Innovations, then drop down what you think of them compared to the problems we normally get from the last one. So they've obviously have done something about it. Maybe more competitors out there with each other, isn't it? Designing each other for competition is just going to improve things for us. So it's a good win all round. So I'm just going to dive in some of the comments to catch up because I've been waffling for a bit. Let's get the comments up. Okay, sorry, just getting up on the chat. What's the advantage of this base cap? Oh, sorry, mate. Just let me get that up. Yeah, the base cap. Yeah, gotcha. It's for the ones I had from Exceed Innovations, they were very, very tight to fit the bottom of my pole. And I'm sure if I took the measurements of the bottom of my pole and sent them to Exceed Innovations, they would have got me a better fit base cap. With these ones, they seem more solid. They're not as soft, and they're a bit more tougher, these ones. So I think they're going to be definitely longer lasting. And I'm finding it easier to put on and off my pole because obviously I measured them this time with the calipers. And I'm sure if I went for Exceed Innovations, done the same thing, perhaps what I had would have fitted better. But back at the time, I was trying ones that didn't fit. I'd order the next size up and I'd find that didn't. So my pole was like an in-between size. So it was always slightly too tight. And I found it really hard to take on and off. And on my 18-foot pole, I couldn't put the base cap on all the way on because I just simply wouldn't be able to take it off. So it was only kind of halfway on, if that makes sense. So I could get it on and off a lot easier. Probably wore in a bit. So that's why I thought I'd try one of these base caps from Rootex Designs, and I've just gotten a hell of a lot better with it. So that's me personally. And what I've looked at the quality, these ones from Rootex Design, they're hard plastic, so I think they're going to be longer wearing, whereas the ones from Exceed Innovations, they're a bit softer, and you'll probably need to replace it a lot earlier than the ones from Rootex Designs. But then again, going off the prices, it'll probably work out the same. But I'm happy with them anyway. And I used it as a tester to see what the standard of their products are before thinking about perhaps using other things from their website, if that kind of makes sense, mate. And so far, I've been pretty impressed with it. So I was just going to Paul. He's saying about his Univalve sticks when I extend my pole, thinking I might need one of those service kits. Right, so when you extend the poles, you mean it kind of like turns itself on and off. What we found is it was my kids first, and then it was my turn. So we've all had a go at turn of it. Was Univalve was getting harder to pull to turn it off or to turn it on. And then that's when I figured it needs more silicone grease, really. And that's why I went for the service kit. The first time I did it, I made a video on the channel, was using the Exceed Innovations service kit, and that worked. I just had to do it again later because I think I put a bit less silicone grease on it. So I put more on there. That worked, no problem. I was quite happy with that. But then again, it was about 8 months down the line, I had a reoccurring problem. So I just brought a new Univalve, really. And then using these ones, though, from Rootex Designs, the service kits, because obviously I'd done something similar before, I knew what to do. So I took it all apart, used their service kit. It was a lot cheaper, put it together, and it's been no problem so far. And hopefully it'll stay that way. But they work out cheaper for me because obviously I've got 2 poles that I use, an 18-foot pole, or my bigger pole anyway, and a 4-foot pole. My son's got exactly the same setup, so that's 4. Then my daughter Sophie's got a 4-foot pole. I've got another 4-foot pole for my wife. I've got an 8-foot pole for when my kids help as well. So there's a lot of Univalves I've got, really. So if I was paying full price for a hell of a lot of Univalves, it's going to cost me a lot of money. But when using these service kits, it's basically the unofficial one has halved my costs, basically. So that's why I went for them as well. And they were good. So that's made me think of using other products. So I've gone for the base cap. I've been happy with that. And the drip, Gardener's drip, whatever it's called, stop. That's been good as well for doing face sops and gutters so I don't get wet arms. And so that's got me thinking about other products they do, really. I'll just work my way around it. It's only worth doing on something that's not working right, I suppose. Sorry, Rob, just coming to you, mate. You can stand the pole on the base cap without catching the pole hose. Yeah, you've probably already noticed. You'll see on the top, so I'll just get the cursor up. You've got these 3 little prongs here. I don't know if there's a better photo of it, actually. and it's very similar to the ones they do on window cleaning warehouse that come with a phantom pole. So you've got these 3 spikes, and then it gives a bit of clearance so the pole can go underneath. So when you're standing your pole up and you're, say, leaning it against a wall or something daft like that, it's not going to squash the pole hose, basically. So there's a gap underneath it. So yeah, it has got that, which is good. So Paul's just saying, just got their Rectis cover, fed up. Is that the one from Rootex Designs, mate, or the? And is there a problem with their one? That's what I mean. Like I was looking, they got different ones. I think they've got Tough Connect, and they've got Slimline. I'll just try and see if I can see it. Just bear with me. Yeah, this is the better one, I think. It costs more money though. You see, it's $19.95, and that's the Tough Connect. And then I believe they've got another 2 different types versions. So you've got what's called Rec Protec. I think this is something that must have come out first. This is slightly cheaper. It's small. It's more of an ovalish type shape. That one did catch my eye, and it obviously just goes in half by the looks of it and goes together. But looking on this one, it looks like you got your rectus, and it seems a bit of a faff really. And then these 2 just cover your rectus fitting, whereas I like the slick connectors because I can actually take them apart and interchange them with other pole hoses. Looks like to do that with this, it'll just take a bit longer than what it would with a slick connector. So that was the one that put me off that. And they've also got a slim version of it basically, so it's a bit slimmer but it's a bit longer. The only thing I was worried about that is that when the pole hose wraps around your reel, that's going to get bent or something like that. So out of the 3, I would prefer to go for this Tough Connector. So I think it's a little bit shorter, and plus, I don't know if you can see, it's got the rectus fittings inside, but you can just take these 2 apart a lot easier than you could with the Protec ones. I'll just try and get it up for you again, if that makes sense. This one, because in order to take it apart, you've got to unscrew them and then take apart the rectus fitting. Whereas with the Tough Connect, it's very similar to the slick connector where you've got 2 parts and you just twist and it's off, and you can put it into a different one on another hose or another pole hose, and there twist, click, and it's in. So that's what I like about that one, and that's why I'm tempted to try it. Sorry, Paul, just let us know if I'm on the right lines. Is it because you're just fed up with the rectus fittings getting worn when it's all being dragged across concrete and things like that? The covers definitely make your rectus fittings last longer, and I do like the slick connector. But because I had that bit where it kept catching, that's why I had my eye on this. But I've just seen, just shows you how often I don't glance around to check. It looks like Exceed Innovations have rectified that problem. And perhaps now for me, it'll be cheaper to do that because all I've got to do is buy that top half out of the slick connector, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than buying a whole connector, so to speak. So RC Extreme, better than 40 quid for, oh sorry, new Valve lost a lot of how many I brought over the years. Oh, is that for tyres, mate, is it? New valve on your tyres. I'm always buying them covers to go on your valves. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Nothing happens for ages, and then all of a sudden stuff goes really quickly. And it's like the guy in tyres are telling me someone come in, 4 new tyres, Pirellis as well, because that's what they wanted. Drove less than 50 metres up the road, and they got a flatty, had to come in, and where the puncture was can't be repaired, so it was another new Pirelli tyre. It's just terrible, isn't it? State of the roads. So I'm just catching up with Paul. Meant to say fed up with rectus fittings leaking and disconnecting. A few guys, okay, rave about slick connect. Yeah, the slick connector is good, mate. It'll protect your fittings, the rectus fittings. They won't scrape around on the floor. And I guess if they scrape on the floor a bit, that could be causing leaks. It is good system, whether you get the Rutex tough connect or the slick connectors are now, I suppose, because obviously with this update, I've only just seen Exceed Innovations have done where they've addressed the problem. The old one, there's 4 quadrants that could bend open easier. They've got this bit here where it's round. That just addresses that problem. And basically, where my cursor is, mate, that fits inside your hose, and the opposite end here is what fits inside this part. And then that half, using this bit here, connects onto the other half of the slick connector. So it does the same as your rectus fittings, but it's protecting the rectus fittings, if that makes sense. And you'll probably get 2 years use out of your rectus fitting, or possibly more, because you've got these slick connectors on there. And what I like about the slick connectors is it means it's interchangeable. So yeah, so here you go. Look, there's the female part, and then you've got the new male bit, and they just connect up. Inside there will still be your rectus fitting female one for the female part, but on the male part of your slick connector, there is no rectus fitting. Excuse me. So it'll probably save money on rectus fittings as well using these. They are good, mate. I'll definitely get one and just try it. But if you're like me, because you've got different hoses, pole hoses, if you're going to update one thing, you have to update it across the board in your van over everything. So I can't see a button. Here we go. So they are good, trust me. And obviously they've improved them, so it's going to be a lot better. So I'll just get a new male bit now rather than using that tough connect, I think. Although I was really looking forward to trying that. But yeah, we'll go for it. Honestly, mate, they are good. That's why a lot of people talk about them. It's just, I kept getting caught up, but they've addressed this problem. They're always innovating, aren't they? So it just goes listening to people. Hi, Matt. You all right, mate? Saw your video earlier and commented on it, and obviously got your comment back. Hope your newborn's all going well, mate, and all good. And I hope the weather's not too bad for you tomorrow morning, Monday. So Paul's just saying, getting prepared for winter each year, try to improve so not to lose days work. It's not nice losing work, is it? And it's great to minimising it. But I think no matter how good you get, it does just depend how bad the weather is. Sometimes we're milder than others, isn't it? But tips I've found is you can get any hoses in. So, for example, I've got a shed which has got my water making machine to make pure water, RO and DI, and my ISO containers in there, my holding tank. But obviously I've got hoses that feed into the machine inside my shed, and it goes outside to my outside tap. So in winter, I disconnect them, bring the hose in so it doesn't freeze up with water. And then that way, when I go out and work and I need to use it and I've refilled my tank, I just connect it all up, turn the tap on, because the water's flowing, it won't freeze. And then that way it can still make water while I'm working, come home to refill the van for the next day. I found out to refill the van in the evenings, because that way, if anything's going to go wrong in the morning, it doesn't matter, my tank is full. And then basically I just get all the hoses, empty them out of water, that's all on the outside, put them back so they stay warm in my shed, basically. And I do the same with the waste pipe where the wastewater's coming out of my system. And that's what I found's help. Inside your van, obviously, is the good old oil rad heater. That's what I use with an electric extension cable going out to my van, and I can have it going up through the underfloor guides. So I put the plug out through that way, so the van's still locked. And then that obviously keeps everything in my van, stops that from freezing as well. And if anything does get frozen in your poles, which can happen with the hose actually inside the pole, sometimes I just take all that out, warm bucket of water in the morning to defrost it, put it all back together. And then you just hope it's not that bad when you're working outside that everything freezes. But to be honest, if it's in the minuses, like -4, it's probably not even worth taking your van out, is it, trying to work, and you're going to have an accident with your van. So when it's too bad, there's just nothing you can do about it. Oh, Rob's, yeah, I'm glad that good comment this. Sorry, I'm going to catch up with the comments, guys. Just bear with me. You're saying you use the WFP link from Spring Europe. I have tried most of the others, and this is by far the best in my opinion. I'm glad you said that actually, because Ian Shepherd, I brought a WFP link from Xline just for the basic controller, but they didn't have it. So I said I'd pay the extra and get the one with the link, which is what I've got. Because I was thinking with the link, I liked the idea that you could say have it set to 30 when you're cleaning the window, press a button, jumps to 50 for the rinse part, press a button, you're back to 30 for cleaning. And I was thinking that using that's going to save me water. So I was keen to use that. But the one I got from Xline was with the cell battery, and there's issues with that. The battery was just super discharging itself. But what Ian Shepherd's done is they've personally, and they did it in quick time as well, made me another controller, asking for like the model numbers, serial numbers, and that's everything matched and worked. They built it, made it, got it out to me really quick time, a lot quicker than what they said it would take, because obviously they've got to build it and that. And then I've got the link, and it's also, instead of being the cell battery one, it's the one where you charge up from your mains using a USC, I think, and it charges up that way. And also with that one, they also kindly got it so that I could have on my phone the app. So you can use your phone as well as the controller, and use your phone to see your battery levels and your van, that sort of stuff. And I have used it, and it's really good. One thing I like with the WFP link as well is similar to like Univalve. When you pull the Univalve, it stops, but your pump is going to still try and work, and it'll keep dead ending, pump dead end. But when you're using the WFP link and you press a button where it stops it, it's not as fast as Univalve to stop or start, but it's not too bad. But what it does is the pump just stops altogether, so it's not going to keep trying to work and dead end. So you're going to get extra life out of your pump that way as well using that. But obviously the only drawbacks you get is if you're completely around the other side of a building, it all just depends on the building and how far your van away is. You might find it gets in the way of the signal, so you lose that ability to change your settings. It just varies from house to house. And I suppose when you do it, I've did it for a week, and I'd like to do longer, actually, more to give it a go. Is some houses I found it wouldn't work, some houses it was fine. But I know the more you do your rounds, you'll just know what houses you'll be able to use the link controller and what houses you can't. And then if it's one where you can't, you just know where the black spots are. So before you get around there, you just put it on the highest setting and then use your Univalve only to turn the water on and off. And then, for example, when you're getting the good spots around the front, you know, you can use your controller. That'll hopefully save you water. And when you're cleaning a conservatory roof, you can have it set, say, 30 to do all the scrubbing. And then when you just get to rinse everything else, then put it up to 50. So it's still some playing around with it. I like the ability that it gives you. And also I like the fact that when you stop it, the pump stops working. It doesn't keep dead ending like when you use your Univalve to stop the water. So it is good. So how have you got on with it, Rob? I know there's other things you can do as well. There's lots of factors, like it depends where it's installed in your van, whether the van doors are closed or open. And also if you've got a house that's using Wi-Fi, microwaves, all these things that can happen in your own house, the microwave can get in the way of your Wi-Fi, can't it? So you've got all these things that come into play as well. But yeah, it's got good potential. Matt's just saying, oh, have you seen Mark Monroe's stuff to put over connectors? Think his business is Add Sparkle. There you go, Paul. That could be someone else to look into if you're thinking of these slick connectors. I'll have a look at Add Sparkle. I'll just type in his name. Hopefully it'll put it all together for us. Oh, I can see it on the window cleaning forums. Right, just bear with me. I'll, in case, I expect most people have, but if you just type in all one word, lowercase, windowcleaningforums.co.uk, it'll take you to this website here, and you can register, and then obviously you can log in. You don't have to do that to have a look round, but it's easy to go in there and use it. Then you can comment and all that stuff. It's a bit of an outdated That's not outdated. It's just how forums used to be. Everyone used Discord now, don't they? But I get on fine with it. And there's lots of good gen in there, good community of people as well. And he's just come up in here. I just wondered, here we go. Someone's got a link in it. So there we go. Look, there's a link. And this will take it. Oh, it's not going to open. So it must be a dead link. Never mind. So it could be worth having a look around in there. That's still one, dead one. And just see what people are saying. Have you got a link to that at all, Matt, to put down in the comments for everyone? I expect he's probably got it all on YouTube, because I know he's got a YouTube channel, hasn't he? It's probably on there. So, yeah, Paul, that could be worth a look. I haven't seen that, Matt. But, yeah, it's worth a look, isn't it? I'm sure I have seen something, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. So I changed over to Slick Connect a while ago, and they have been great. I was fed up with the rectus leaking last winter, and a few Slick connectors broke in the cold weather. Right, here you go, Paul. So, yeah, Matt's here's rating it, the Slick connector being good. I haven't had any dramas with it. It's just where it catches on the walls, but obviously they've changed the male bit, the cover there. So it's round circular now, so it'll probably avoid all that, and that'll just fix that problem. And I like the way I can interchange it with me different hoses and pole hoses. And like I've got the same connectors on my gardener's backpack, so I can just interchange my poles, because they've got different size pole hose for each pole, if that makes sense. So it makes life a lot easier for me. Yeah, sorry, I'm just catching up on comments here. Good to hear it, mate. Happy days, isn't it? Close peg. So I just come to Rob saying WFP link, one is slightly different. Right, yeah, because I know you can get different ones. So you can control your hot water through it, as well as obviously what I was talking about, controlling the pump. All right, you got a range of 200 meters, and buildings don't get in the way of the signal. Yeah, and like I said, the pump doesn't dead end like when you pull on your univalves, but when you're using the remote control stop, it just stops. So it's going to protect your pump more as well. And then, because that's what I thought, I've had all them in my van, I basically negates the need to have univalves, because you just got one controller, and I might have, like I said, 2 poles running off my setup in the van, for example, but I don't need 2 univalves because I just got the one controller. But when you lose the signal, you're a bit stumped. I know there's other things I could do, like I can get, is it an antenna you can put on top of your van, and then it connects to your controller, so then hopefully you've got a bit more range rather than it being like tucked in where it could be in my van, something like that. So there are ways around stuff. Oh, and you're also saying there's no pressure on the joints, so no leaks. Yeah, because it's not going to keep trying to pump and dead ending, so it's just off. So for those that have got problems there with your rectus fittings leaking, that could also negate that, couldn't it? I know it costs a little bit more than just your bog standard controller, but yeah, the version 16 controller, I've only got the one, and it's the WFP link. And if it was really good, I'd then buy exactly the same for my son. So he's got the same function and capability as well. Wilco's saying, I had the, sorry mate for took him so long to get to the comments. You've had the WFP link around 3 years and can't beat it. Wow. Like I said, I only gave it a week. I didn't use it last week because I had all the problems with me tyres and stuff. But I just said I would use it flat out for a month before, give it a good verdict on it for me. Excuse me. You've got to give things a chance, haven't you? Because you've got your old habits and you're trying to change it. But I do like the idea of what the link can do. Like you say, turning the pump off so it's not dead ending, unlike with the Univalve. And also I like the fact that you can control and change the levels. You can even press a button on it to do your automatic calibration as well. And you can do all this on your phone. And you've got the ability, you look on their website, it's good. You can change what buttons do what. It just depends what level of controller you've got. Hi mate. The base caps that are three little prongs feet are very good. I brought the window cleaning warehouse phantom ones, okay, for my SLX and CLX. Stops the pole holes getting squashed. So all these things help, and they keep your kit last a bit longer. Yeah, I've only seen them like with the phantom poles and Rootex Designs as well. But I'm happy with the base cap. It's really hard rubber. It's a 3D printer is what he prints them off, and they are good quality. Just wish I had one up here to show you, but they are good. And like I said, I'm happy with them, and they don't keep coming off. You know, like when you, because they're like drain pipe tubes. So when your pole goes through and it's laying down, as you pull, it can catch and come off. But they're staying on at the moment, so that's good. So I'm happy with it anyway. And yeah, just see what next week brings, isn't it? We've got all this problem now. Winter's definitely coming here. You get up early, look out the window, it's a lot darker, isn't it? And it's getting darker early, so you know winter's coming. And we've got the spider mating season at the moment, haven't we? September, October. And they're probably still going a bit after October, to be honest. And all some of the people you'd have cleaned, say, in October, you're not going to clean till December, sometimes if they're 8 weekly. So it's probably around December. I normally find after the second week in December, I find the windows are a hell of a lot cleaner easier to clean, because there's none of the spiders out anymore. It's too cold for them. Everything's staying cleaner longer. With the wet weather, everything's getting extra rinse. So it makes my job of cleaning easier, which kind of fits well when you get your lacquer light and everything starts getting dark by 4. And then I normally find that that helps me. And you get the odd skips as well during that time, but it just helps me out with the daylight. And then about, I'm sure, late January, February time, you notice with the weather, the windows start getting back to normal and needing a bit more clean. Because you think like middle of December onwards, you're thinking, wow, I'm super quick. Well, that's what we found last year anyway. But yeah. So Paul's just asking, does anyone know what voltage a leisure battery should not drop below before charging? I stupidly left my system running last week, and when I checked the battery voltage, it dropped right down. Good question. I take it when you're saying the voltage, it's the voltage it'll read off on your flow controller. You know, like when you can cycle through whether it's flow rate or the battery power. And I think if it gets to about 10.5, isn't it, the whole system shuts itself down, so you don't completely drain the battery. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And because I know when you cycle through, you can see your battery, and you'll notice, like when you're reeling in the electric reels, obviously the voltage drops down. When you stop, it starts to climb. And then obviously when you're driving round with a split relay, it's going to get a charge. Or I've done it on some cleans when my voltage was dropping down. I've had to turn the engine on because I was in a place where I could do that. Is on in someone's like drive in the garden, so it's protected. And I've left the engine running while I'm cleaning to bring me voltage up a bit. But I've obviously since then I've replaced a leisure battery. Got 6 years use out of it, so that was really well. And I haven't had any problems since I put a new leisure battery in. But I'm pretty sure, mate, with the voltage reader, when it gets to like 10.5 or 10.4, that's when the flow controller is shut off. Because the idea is it doesn't drain your battery flat, so you can still drive. I'm pretty sure, mate, that's what it is. If anyone knows any more, please let Paul know. I'm pretty damn sure that's what it is. Matt's saying, I think all right, yeah, 10.5 volts. So Matt's just saying similar to what I have. So I've got to be, between us, we've got to be close to the truth, haven't we? Paul's saying that's a relief. When I charge a battery, it's only charging to 11 point something. Yeah, and you'll probably find as you're driving your van, it might, with the split relay, climb up a bit more. It just probably needs a good run. That's part of the reason why I like my Coningsby day. I know it's a 100-mile round trip and it seems crazy, but when I was leaving the military, I started my window cleaning and I was having to earn money just to pay the business loan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had enough. So I was going out my lunch breaks to clean some windows close to the camp, which was at Coningsby. So by the time I'd left the military, I'd had a day's worth of work there. And I've always said to my wife, because they started getting me going, I'm not just going to do a runner. I'll keep going there as long as I get a day's worth of work, because they got me started, really. And that's what I've done. Now it seems daft. And then some of them have been crying out for a window cleaner, can't find one yet. There's one that lives an hour away, comes around. It's got its challenges, but it breaks up my routine. It's a good run for the van, I find, because normally everything being so close, it's short runs, and it will take its toll. Because your van really, isn't it? It's designed to get on a motorway and deliver cargo, not stop, start, stop, start. So yeah, that's why we like that day. Okay, you got it on a repair charge cycle tonight, so hopefully it'll be okay. There's only one way to find out, and it is to do it. As long as you can get your work done, I think that's your relief, isn't it? And little tricks, mate, would be you could probably press that on your flow controller, the X, the right-hand button. So it goes from flow to bat, and it'll give you your battery volt reading, and you can keep an eye on it through the day. And when you know it's getting close to that 10.5, maybe in places where it's safe to, you could leave the engine running on your van while you're working. If you're like at the right house with your customer where it's safe to do that, so someone can't nick your van. And that could help you limp through the day. And then just give it a good drive, I would. Oh, I've just done something here. Hopefully that sort of like makes sense, mate. We all do daft things. I've done enough of them. But yeah, I'm definitely sure it's 10.5. And that's the lowest. Then your flow controller will just turn itself off. So it's trying to stop you draining your battery completely. But yeah, just little tricks I've done, mate, is just left it running. I know some people as well, don't they, get solar panels and an inverter. So that's going to top up your leisure battery during the day as well. Little things like that. I think the guys who do the pressure washing use that sort of stuff, don't they? But I know it's not going to be as easy as what we say. I'm sure you've got to get the right rating stuff and get it all fitted in properly, obviously. It's something I've thought of as well. Because at the end of the day, my leisure battery is charging 2 electric reels and then 2 flow controllers, 2 pumps. So it's getting a lot out of it. If I didn't have an electric reel, that's something less taxing on my battery, isn't it? So it's all right having all these things. I know, like when you go to suppliers and you say, will I need another leisure battery to run that? And then you've got the ball ache of charging it, I suppose, haven't you? And how much was my leisure battery? I think was 124 quid, 130 quid, something like that, with delivery to get it. But I've managed to fit it in. It's fine. And since then, I haven't had any problems that I was getting. Rob's just saying, is anyone going to the cleaning expo next year? Good question, because I've only been to one. That was before I actually first started. So I went up to speak to Xline face to face rather than on the phone. And I managed to speak to a couple of window cleaners when I was walking around and just chatting. And it kind of gave me the kick up the backside, say, sod it, I'm going to do it. Rather than thinking I can't do it, just do it and go for it. But I haven't been since then. I keep saying every year I want to go, but there's always something that comes up and I can't. What I'll do then for next year is I'll say I'm going. And hopefully I'll see you lot down there. And I keep saying as well that I should save up money for it through the year so that when you get there, you've got money to buy stuff, because there's always good deals on, like 20% off this, all that kind of stuff. If there's any new kit coming out near that time, that's when they tend to launch it as well. So I always keep saying I'll try and save some money, but when it comes around to it, something's come up and wiped me out. But yeah, I'm going to do it, save hard, and then update some kit maybe down there and hopefully get some freebies. And just, see who's about. Hopefully we'll bump into each other. I know there's a group of people in there that go up the night before and they go have a few beers and everything. And then they go at the show and obviously go home. That could be maybe worth looking into. Could be messy. Hi, mate. Still window cleaning limited. I've got double leisure batteries, so they work as one big battery. Never had any issues since having the 2 big Marine leisure batteries. Yeah, I think mine's a marine one as well. Because I was looking around, see if I can get them cheaper from somewhere else. But they're all different sizes, aren't they? So I just got the one I needed because it goes in the Nextline X tank. So I used the one off their website because I know that will be fit in there and do the job. So I went for it. But yeah, that's a good idea. So he's got two together. Is that called in parallel or something like that? You did pay to have it fitted, didn't trust myself. That's exactly what I would do if I'm going to join two batteries. Become an ID maker probably if I got that all right. Yeah, but I fitted my battery myself because it's just terminals off, battery out, battery in, put the terminals on, and then just try and remember how everything was laid out. That's what iPhones are for, isn't it? Taking pictures. That's why I also had an install system fitted in my van. Didn't do a DIY system. I just went down to Xline, brought a system, they installed it for me so I could just drive out, use it. Because I know I would completely mess it up and probably end up paying about 4 times the amount it would have done to just have an install system. My DIY is not the best. Paul's asking what's the date for next year's Expo. If anyone knows, chuck it in here. I'll have a look in a minute. Yeah, Matt's saying we should all meet up. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, it's on a Saturday and Sunday. So that narrows it down to the date. I'm sure nearer the time it will get released more because I know, like, is it Mark Monroe sets all that up, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's getting bigger every year, isn't it? I think. But he normally releases the dates when it's all going out, and go up there. It's worth it just to go up for a burger and that and a look round, isn't it? Right, so it's Saturday and Sunday. That makes sense. So I suppose you could go up on a Saturday now, couldn't you? Stay over some accommodation, a beer, and have another look round on the Sunday. Oh, okay. Paul's just found it. It's March the 28th and the 29th. I'm going to put that down in my calendar and get that set aside. I suppose as well, being a weekend, it's easier for people to get to rather than during the week, isn't it? Because it means you've got to take a day off work. So you lost a day's money as well as your fuel and spending money there. That also makes sense as well. Excuse me, I'm dying to have a drink of this. Sorry, Kev's. Go to the cleaning expo at your peril. You'll end up spending a fortune. Yeah. That's why I want to save some money. So really, if you don't have to spend your money on kit during the year, put that money in the bank to then buy everything that you're going to need. That's what I was thinking. Anything that's classed as consumables and I could get from there, especially if it's discounted, it's worth it just to do that, isn't it? It was kind of saving money through next year. That's my thinking anyway. Yeah, and everything you pick up you want to buy. Oh, Matt's saying he didn't think it as good as previous years and he only spent £4. Blimey. Because it's not just window cleaning stuff there, is it? They've got your pressure washing. Is it carpet cleaners? And various other bits there as well. I did see Squeaky Dave's video and you kind of see some of the stands there. And you got a cleaning stuff. That's all there as well. But it is definitely worth a look round. I know when I first went down there, I was amazed at watching people using the Mormon liquidator on a pole. And I was shitting myself because I wasn't a window cleaner then. Thinking if I walk past and some guy says, try this, and everyone's watching me, they'll be having a right laugh. I'm not clean. I'm trying to be a window cleaner. I ain't even started yet. I was absolutely pumping it. But yeah, it's good to try and see other stuff, isn't it? Get your hands on stuff, basically. Oh yeah, for Matt, 7 hours drive. Yeah, because you're from down Plymouth, aren't you? I think for me, it's just under 2 hours drive. It was to get there. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Stoneleigh, isn't it? Stoneleigh. And obviously, I'm near Wisbeach, so it's not too much of a drive for me, mate. Not 7 hours. Ooh, you want a beer then, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'll have your hands full as well, wouldn't you? with the littling and that. But yeah, it'd be a shame, wouldn't it, if it wasn't up to much cop. But I know this, your main suppliers are there, aren't they? You get to go face to face, see people. Darren from DA Components, he's always busy at his stand, from what I gather. And like he launched his Edge brush, wasn't it? It was all there, so people are going mad on it. That does look a good brush. So I've got another comment coming in. Best thing I brought there was a claw nozzle from GVS. It's game changer for gutters with plants. I haven't got one of them. And obviously I brought a Skyvac Industrial 85, but you can buy the same nozzle from them, can't you? And I can see why it would come in handy when you're trying to get them bits, because obviously you try and break them up, but sometimes they're just a monster. It's like a massive snake, and they've got all the root systems, and they go underneath the lead flashing in the corners and really dig themselves in. So yeah, I can see how the claw on there to drag it out and lift the whole thing out would be really good. And then obviously you can change your nozzle around and off you go. Saves you getting your ladder out and going up there like I have to, because I haven't got one of those. So yeah, that'd be something I'd have to put on my shopping list. And I like the new neck. I say new, it's been out a couple of years. Gooseneck that Skyvac do. It's like a humped back to try and prevent you getting the blockages in there. I wouldn't mind getting one of them as well. But I've got what I've got and it works. I just make it work. But there are things out there. Okay, Matt's saying he probably won't make it next year. I suppose with the littling and everything in the 7-hour trip. And obviously the last one you went to, it's made you think it's not really worth it. It's probably a bit hyped up. Yeah, could have brought it online. Thing is, it's nice to see it though, isn't it? I mean, you look at things online, don't we? But you don't know what it's until you're touching it and holding it. You can make more of a better informed decision. So I suppose that's the other good thing about going to these things. But the other thing is just, I've only been there the once, and it was for me because I was like, wow. And I wasn't a window cleaner, but I was wanting to, and I was looking around, and I was just, everyone was happy speaking. And I know if I stopped anybody, told them I'm thinking of getting into it, everyone would have probably helped me. So it's a good bunch of people walking around there, isn't it, I suppose? Now in this industry, there'll be about 100 new brushes and inventions by the time the Expo's on in March. Never known an industry that has so many new products coming out all the time, yes. And it's good to see, like I've only noticed today, Exceed Innovations are constantly upgrading the ones they've got. So they must be listening to people. And there's obviously other people coming up with other little things themselves as well. It's like trying to keep up with the latest phones, isn't it? The one you've got works. But yeah, anything that makes it interesting, makes your job a bit easier, is worth it though, isn't it? It keeps your interest in there. But it's like me thinking about different brushes, and people are saying try a gardener's brush to get the extreme brush. Or I can't remember what the other one was now. I've been using my xline one, and I've been watching them, and to be honest, I'm happy with the brushes I've got. If I do, I'd probably buy one just to see what it's like and to maybe make a video on it and my thoughts and comparisons. But once I've got it, I'd keep it. And I'm sure I'd find a use for certain jobs. I don't know. Again, like I say, if I use it, I'd have to use it for a month solid, I think, to sort of get my thoughts on it. But I am happy. I was thinking, why do I need to buy another brush when I'm happy with the one I've got? I love the rinse bar. I do like it. There's pros and cons with everything in there. There's never going to be something that's perfect. It's like I was saying to my wife about the window cleaner. I don't think you can ever get it perfect. You can get it just below where it's the best you're going to get it. Because at the end of the day, you build up rounds, but people move away, don't they? So you're never going to get that perfect, compact, constant round every day of your cycle for your window cleaning, whether you're 4 or 8 weeks. It's always going to be something. Someone moves, there's going to be a bit of driving somewhere. You know what I mean? Well, I hope so. What's the best heater for the van to keep your water-fed pole system unfrozen? I use an oil rad heater. I got it from Wix, so it's not massive. and it's run by electric. And then I've got one of those reels with 4 plugs in it. So I put that inside my van, put the plug down, run it through me because I've got underfloor guides to put my hose down in my van so I can work with the van doors locked. And then I just run that out round to a plug socket I've got that's outside the house. And then basically that uses my supplies me oil rad heater with electricity, and then it's got a thermostat on there, so it just clicks in just to keep it above freezing. It's all it needs to be, mate. And I think some people also put them on timers, so it's not on all night. It's just the coldest part of the morning, I suppose. So when you wake up, it's fine. And I've never had any problems with that. And I think some people use duvets, that sort of thing, wrapping around, because you don't want the pumps and the hoses, because you definitely don't want your pump the water in there because it'll expand and break your hose basically. So yeah, that's what I've used NORAD heat and I've been fine. But I would love a hot water system because they come with the frostat features. And what I love about that is you don't have to keep looking at the weather forecast to see how cold it's going to be that night and do I need to put the heater in, because it is a bit of a ball ache to put it in your van at night and then to take it out in the morning. But you do what you've got to do. You don't need to look after your kit. But if I had a hot water system with the frostat feature, if I went to bed and there was a really cold spell just come out of the blue that even the weather didn't see coming, I wouldn't even have to worry about it because it'll automatically sort itself out, because it uses the diesel in your fuel tank of your van. And then obviously when the temperature gets to certain, it just has a heater that blows hot air around your van every now and then. As well as obviously having it so you've got hot water that you can use when you're cleaning. So that's what I would definitely love. And again, I keep saying I'd love to save the money, go to the window cleaning expo and then get one there like a 20% off discount, you know what I mean? And save a lot of money. Rob's just said what I've said, oil rad heater electric. Yeah, that's what I use. And the other thing is it won't go to waste. You can use it in your house, can't you? Or in the shed when I get kicked out at night. Yeah, it is. I don't know how much. I haven't worked it out, but oil rad heaters, I think, are cheaper to run than other types of electric heaters, if that makes sense. That's why people tend to go for them. And I think they're a bit safer as well. Yeah, and like I say, if it is set it against losing a day's pay, it's minimal, isn't it, really? At the end of the day, if the road's frozen, like I said, if it's like -3, -4, it's probably pointless going out, because if you're going to have an accident with your van, that's off the road for how many days? Just accept defeat. I mean, I have worked in conditions where it's cold and I've been so certain that I'm going to keep working, but the water's starting to freeze coming out of my brush head, and it's starting then to start freezing as it's coming through your hose, because the hose is all laying on the floor. So if it's too cold, sometimes it's not worth it, mate. But I understand when you need the money, you just got to go out and do what you got to do, haven't you? Rob saying you use hot, but would not trust the frostat system. Okay, so you still use your oil rad, even though you've got the hot water with the frostat system in it. Gotcha. Don't tell me you've been bitten and caught out, so that's why you kind of do it. I hope not. Steel Window Cleaning Limited, just saying I have a little oil radiator, but when I'm out on a really cold day, I take a cool box full of boiling water and dip the brush head in now and then. That's a really good idea. Again, to stop them from freezing. Yeah, I've brought a cool box for this year, so I will use your tip, mate. Thank you for that. So when it is on them really cold, when it's cold, sometimes it's not that cold all day. It's just obviously the coldest part of the day, like in the morning or in the evening, towards the end of the day. Hopefully, in the middle of the day, the sun's out for a bit, innit? And yeah, that's a good idea. Like I say, all these tips, isn't it? It gets you through. And when you need the money and you've got to go out and earn it, it's these little tricks and tips that help you skimp through it, rather than it going against you. You only need to lose 2 or 3 days in a month, and then you start to worry, don't you? You start having to plan working Saturdays and stuff, unless you get to save up your pot. But there's always stuff that goes wrong. It does for me anyway. At least my tyres should be all right now. I just got 2 more I've got 2 new wheels on my van now, so I've got to get 2 new wheels to go on the back. So then everything just matches. And as my wheels were cause of leaks on some of my tyres, the back ones obviously at some point are going to go. It's just they're that old. My van is 10 years old. So yeah, get some new ones. Plus it'll look better, won't it? I like a nice, good, clean van. It's your office in it, and you're a cleaner. So people probably think all sorts of things. It's an important piece of kit, isn't it, your van? Every time you turn that key, we never say well done, but when it doesn't start, God, do we curse. Oh, I don't know if I've just had some more comments. Yeah, sorry. I've just missed those. Okay, what about fill about 100 litres of boiling water? Yeah. I wonder if anyone will do it, though. You'll have a lot of cups of tea while you're doing that, won't you? For those that don't have a hot water system, why not install an electric heater thermostat into the tank? Simple and cheap. Yeah, I forgot what they're called now. Squeaky Clean Dave done it, and he's done a video, hasn't he? And I think it's use a 3 kilowatt one, not a 2 kilowatt one. But I know I'd hate to make a hole in my tank because I'd just make it too big and just mess it up. I'd have to get someone to do that for me. Damn, I've forgotten what it's called, but I know what you're saying. And yeah, and Dave also insulated his tank as well, didn't he? So when it heated it up, it would stay warm through the day as well. I know Window Cleaner uses a unit for a caravan shower in the winter for keeping, having warm water, not hot. Only uses it in winter, but means he loses less work. It's a good idea due to the weather. You do find that in some years it's all right, and some years can be very brutal. I know when I first started, it was that beast from the east that was terrible. But luckily for me, I didn't have tons of customers, so I could easily catch up, if that made sense. So I got through that all right. And I was just using the heater in the van and that sort of thing. Mark is saying I've had the water freeze inside the hose halfway through a massive commercial job because it was on frosty grass surrounding the building. Yeah, and I've had it similar, but not on a commercial job though. It was just a house. Again, that's where that cool box with hot water. I suppose you'd have to keep taking it off, dipping it in there, work on a window, and doing that to limp through, innit? But when it's that bad like that, you do start to question and think, am I going to have to just call it a day? What am I really achieving? But needs must, isn't it? And you don't think about the hose laying on like the cold concrete or the like say frosted grass. It doesn't have to be like ice and snow, does it, for it to freeze up? Oh yeah, you got it, mate. Immersion heater. Yeah, that's what Squeaky Clean Dave done a good video on that. I had thought of that, but I like the idea of a hot water system, especially for me, because when I run out of water and go home to refill up, the hot water system would be instant at using that hot water. Whereas if I had an immersion heater and run out of water, I put new water in it, it's going to be cold. You've tried the LPG shower, cost you 200 quidish. All right, I've got you. Yeah, because didn't Darren from Green Pro Limited, because I used to watch loads of his videos when I first started. I started rewatching them as well, actually. Yeah, and he used that, didn't he, for a while as hot water. It was fitted. Yeah, snow has gone up and the shower packed up. Right, snow was gone and the shower packed up. Wow. At least it was only 200-ish rather than thousands-ish, if you get what I'm saying. And I think you have to have the doors open, don't you? Because all the fumes, unless you've got a flume and that sort of thing, I suppose. Could always put a pizza oven in the back of a van, couldn't we? Sell pizzas on the side as well. When it's really cold, even the guys I know with hot water systems packed up a few hours into their morning because the water from the brush was freezing on the ground. Yeah, and it starts to freeze on the glass, doesn't it? I've had that where you're cleaning and as the water runs down, you see it starting to freeze. And you just start thinking, what the hell must be going through your customer's mind when they're looking out the window, watching the water freezing on the glass and you're still trying to work. You know what I mean? And they're probably not that keen for you to keep doing it neither. Even though you could say, look, when it melts, it'll just run off, it'll be fine. But you know what I mean? You do sometimes think, at what point should you just draw a line? Because your customer's just going to think you're nuts. I mean, I've scraped a roof in the snow as well before. That was a garage roof, by the way, not on a house. That's what I said to him. It's the only time I got spare to do it. I'm so busy window cleaning is to come out on a Sunday, and it just happened to want to snow that afternoon. But I've got loads of people in the street. Thought I was crazy, but admired me for it. What is the coldest you can clean in first winter on the job? Good question. I would definitely say, mate, if there's ice out on the roads, it's probably not even worth leaving your house because, like I said, if you have an accident in your van, well, then you're probably going to not work for a few weeks while you're trying to get all your van fixed and sorted out. As much as we want to get out there and clean, sometimes you just got to weigh up and say it's not worth it. But with these, it's hard, isn't it, to look on your weather forecast to make a decision. You still got to make that decision when you wake up in the morning, you know what I mean? And then when you're thinking it's a no, you're probably hanging around thinking, well, I'll give it another hour just in case. It depends how much work you've got for the day, I suppose. Or if you could even get half a day and do half the next day and limp yourself through it. But I would generally say if it starts to be a lot of ice out on the road, it's probably not worth going out. Think of the weight of the van, the water. And if you have an accident, like saying someone happens to your van, you would curse like hell. But again, temperature, I'd say, doesn't. It's just the wind chill, isn't it? Makes it colder than what it actually is. And your hands, it's not fun when your hands are freezing cold. I mean, I used to be a squaddy, so I don't mind it, but I'm getting older. So I'm starting to feel the cold a bit more than I used to, even though I'm putting on a bit of timber and that. But yeah, I hate having really cold hands. And if the water's starting to freeze in the glass, I kind of question it there. But you keep saying I'll do the next clean because sometimes one house might be different to another one. But yeah, I know most people say when it hits -4, don't even go out. You know, if it's above that, make a good decision on whether to or not. It's not worth the risk of having something happen to your van. Rob saying, in my opinion, there is no foolproof method of cleaning in the winter, but hot water will probably reduce your loss of days. Because obviously it's got to be better than using cold water, isn't it? And the hot water is going to keep you working, hopefully. But when it gets stupidly cold, it's not worth going out. Which kind of makes you then think, what was the point of buying a hot water system? Because you're still going to get defeated in the winter. But I know a lot of people have, Rob will probably say it, they've got hot water systems where they use it all year round because it makes cleaning so much easier, reduce the need for chemicals. And other people have told me, they just said once you use it, you'll have it on all the time, and it just makes cleaning a lot easier. Getting marks off frames, it'll just come off, less scrubbing, so you'll start to be quicker as well. So I just seen another one. Anyone use the waterproof fleece-lined sight gloves from Screwfix? They're orange and really good. I've used a few of their gloves, sight ones. I've used some other gloves. I can't remember what they're called. I got them from a place called Hugh Crane, and they make different ones. They've got ones that are like insulated, so if you're holding something that's hot, like getting stuff out of an oven, not talking about oven gloves. So it was insulated as in for heat, and then they had other ones where it's waterproof and they were lined inside. And I've got ski gloves now, I think. I know whatever the gloves are, I'm happy with them, but I haven't had to wear gloves for a long time. So I use them. I do. It's just me. I hate wearing gloves, so I tend to try and not use them. But obviously when it's really cold, I'll put a pair of gloves on. But the thing is, I find with these ones that are really tight and fleece lined, they're very hard to keep taking on and off quickly. And then they don't sort of like last too long. But most of these gloves are priced, aren't they? Between £10 and £15. So really, they're replaceables quite easy, and you're not going to have a pair of pair of gloves last forever, are you? But Yeah, I want ones that I can take on and off quick. So that's why I think I've got these ski gloves, because they're a bit easier to take on and off, but they're still a slim fit, if that makes sense. And yeah, I swear they're ski gloves. They're ones my son used. He liked them, and I tried them, and basically I've copied them. Oh, sorry, Paul's just saying, mate, the orange gloves are great. Sorry, I've missed a comment here as well. I've missed a few. What about when clients are on automatic payments? That's the only big responsibility. When you got these automatic payments, mate, it doesn't take the money out like a standing order. Basically, if you do the clean and then raise the invoice, it generates the payment method. So if you didn't clean on through winter because of the weather, for example, you're not gonna automatically be taking money out of people's accounts still, if that makes sense. It's only done when you raise the invoice. So once you've done the clean, um, most of them work that way. It's definitely how Go Cardless works, and I know Stripe, if you've got that set up for automatic payments, it only does it once you've done the job. It doesn't, you know what I mean? You're not taking money out of people's account whilst you're sat at home, basically. That's something I feared as well. I think it was Rob, sorry. Best way to lose money in winter. Not lose money, yeah, save up in the summer. That's why I like to try and, when the sun's out and you get them people coming off for one-off jobs or saying how much to do this, because you've got longer daylight, the kids hate it when they think we're finished. I'm like, yeah, we'll do this. They look at me and I'm like, yeah, but I want that money in the bank, because that's going to, like you say, for winter, and you never know what's around the corner, what's going to go wrong with your van. So I try and build up in the summer as well, instead of getting cleaned out, because you know it's coming. So I'm just trying to catch up on some more comments. Does anyone else have their customers suddenly putting conkers all along the windowsills outside the house to keep spiders away? It's driving me nuts. I ain't got time to put them back. It's just, I'm just laughing because near where I live, and I was walking the dogs with my daughter, there's loads of conkers, and I was just saying, if we lived here when you was younger, we'd have been brilliant, because there'd been conkers like at your feet. And then she just happened to mention to me, because she doesn't like spiders, aren't they supposed to be? And I was like, yeah. But then I said, just think though, they probably attract stuff that eats the spiders, and I bet you wouldn't like them. But yeah, I haven't got many customers that leave conkers outside. People tend to put them on the inside the windows, I've noticed, but not for me, not outside. I did have one customer of mine, they've got a phobia over spiders, and we noticed that the downstairs windows only were a bit funny when we cleaned them, and on the glass it was all smeary, but the top windows were fine. And then I started thinking about it. I thought, I wonder if the customer sprayed some stuff on the windows and the frames, and obviously we've brushed it onto the glass maybe when we're cleaning. And because she ain't going to be able to reach the top windows, that's why it was only the bottom. So when I asked, that was the case. And it took us about 3 or 4 cleans to get that stuff completely removed. I used to have to do it water fed pole and then trad it till eventually we got the stuff off. But yeah, some people have these fears, don't they? Oh, driver leather gloves. And someone else saying the sight ones don't mess up inside. Right, I've got you. Like some of the other lines mess up in. I think I might have got some sight ones, but they didn't have the lining in. As I was trying to use that as, say, like a summer glove. And then I had ones that I'd use for the winter. But then I found out I just don't like wearing gloves. Problem is with your gloves, isn't it? You take away your dexterity. But then again, when your hands are cold, you lose your dexterity as well. But cold hands definitely are not fun. All right, that's it for me, unless anyone else has got anything else to put in. And I just hope we all get a good week. I haven't really looked into what the weather is yet. I don't really pay that much attention because every channel has got a different weather forecast in it. I do like the ones on my Apple phone though, because it uses that dark sky, and I used to use dark sky app and found that relatively accurate. Good enough to plan off anyway. So hopefully everyone will stay dry tomorrow. Now I've said that, we're all going to get soaked. I think it was last Thursday when we worked. That was my Coningsby day. Yeah, it was wet in the morning, but when the sun come out, it was a lot nicer. And it also dried all my wet kit off. So I went home a bit dry. Oh, Rob's saying awful tomorrow. I know it will be for some of yous. Cheers, Paul. You have a nice one as well, mate. Just everyone be safe when you're out there. Just think of yourself. You don't want to lose time off work, do we? For injuries and things like that. And yeah, well, that's it from me. I hope you all have a good week. And I'll obviously put this, a cut down version of this, so it's more edited on the replay. This will also exist on there as well. And night, Rob, mate. Thanks for watching and leaving your comments on the videos and everything, buddy. It's just something we like doing, window cleaning for some reason, isn't it? And getting out there. And it is nice to see customers who appreciate you as well and what it means to them. You look after them. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Be safe, and I'll catch you all later if I can hit the right button.